Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Eden Wellness Alliance's YouTube channel. And we are doing our normal weekly Thursday broadcast of the State of the Association address. For events coming up, which is the first thing we usually cover, I don't have any events coming up in the next few weeks. Simply because we're not going to be having our live events for a little while until we get some more interest. We're instead going to try and put together something a bit more permanent that some people might want to watch, like education on certain specific subjects, like our events would be in person, but instead presenting them either online or in a smaller setting and recording that setting. So there are those things that we'd like to cover. If you have any suggestions for that or would like to have specific things covered in a way that you can go back and access them, not like this, but a bit more polished than this, let me know. And we can always look into possibly doing those. The uh, the announcements. That's about it. They do have the CRN that's still going on every Tuesday at the Sweet Bay Coffee across from Creekmore Park here in Fort Smith. It is starts at 8, and yeah, come there if you want to. If you're even if you're just interested in local businesses, you don't have business yourself, but you want to make some connections or figure out some places, it's a good place to come. Um, let me see. That is about it. So why don't we dive into our article? And this is a kind of blind reaction article for us because we have not seen this. I haven't seen this article beforehand, aside from looking it up and saying that would probably be a good one to do some first reactions on, especially since it's one of those list type things. So it is the 8 Summer Steps for Healthy Living. It's by WebMD. You can find a link to their original article in the description, or if you're looking on the website, in the actual post. And on this on this one, we're going to go over improve your health with steps so simple you'll barely notice the effort, which always is a thing, but those are kind of catchphrasy, and I'm not super into those. This one is by Kathleen Dahoney, Daheny, Doheny, however that's said. Apologies to her if I said that wrong. I'm sure I said it wrong at least twice. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. 8 Summer Steps for Healthy Living, and I'll give my responses to each of the steps as we go along, I think, since this is my first reactions to it with you guys. It says, in the warmer, longer, lazier days of summer, the living may the living may not be easy, but your life probably feels less chaotic. Even adults tend to adopt a schools out attitude in summer. That's why this is a perfect time to improve your health in a fashion so seasonally laid back you'll barely notice the effort. To get to get you started, WebMD went to 8 health experts in fields such as diet, fitness, stress, vision, and oral health. We asked them this: if you could only suggest one simple change this season to boost personal health, what would it be? Here are our top 8 topics. Now, that whole schools out thing, that doesn't apply to people that are agriculturally based, but okay. Um, anyway, that's just kind of my statement on it, because anyone who has like animals or stuff like that, they'll know that hay season starts when it gets warm, so you don't exactly have a schools out. In fact, the origin of having no school in the summertime was to help with the heat with the animals on the farm and the harvest and stuff, like harvest different things that were coming off and care for like hay and things. So that's why kids don't go to school in the summer, at least in America. But that's kind of changing too. That aside, we can go right in. That doesn't really have a bearing on the validity of her statement. So, um, the first one is give your diet a berry boost. If you do one thing this summer to improve your diet, have a cup of mixed fresh berries, blackberries, blueberries, or strawberries, every day. They'll help you load up on antioxidants, which may help prevent damage to tissues and reduce risk of age-related illnesses. Blueberries and blackberries are especially antioxidant rich. A big bonus, berries are also tops in fiber, which helps keep cholesterol low and may even help prevent some cancers. So that's a quick tip, and yeah, that's pretty accurate. Berries are actually really, really good because a lot of the times people will eat the seeds with their berries because the seeds are so small. It's kind of hassle to get them out. You just pop them in your mouth and eat them. Berries, along with their seeds, are great. That's one of the antioxidant benefits, and the seeds are beneficial too. I consider seeds to be kind of God's vitamins type thing. When you eat your food, you should probably eat the seeds with it. The antioxidant boost is going to be a definite thing. Uh, that's just a really good tip in general. And this is when fresh berries start to really come off. We have a lot of blackberries around our house, and we have no problem getting enough blackberries for the different days that we want to have them. So definitely a tip that I could go with and get behind. A lot of different boosts happen with in your system when you get your appropriate amount of berries or stuff like that. So definitely a good idea. Uh, Number two, get dirty and stress less. To improve your stress level, plant a small garden, cultivate a flower box, or if space is really limited, plant a few flower pots indoors or out. Just putting your hands in the soil is grounding, and when life feels like you're moving so fast your feet are barely touching the stuff. Being mentally grounded can help relieve physical and mental stress. And indeed it can. Um, there is study-wise and research-wise lots of different, well, studies and research papers that have talked about the benefits of actually getting in physically getting in touch with the ground and the earth. Um, it is a thing that I recommend to everyone, and it's just a good idea to have a garden and different things like that. Um, Make sure it's something that you can appreciate. Gardens are actually really beneficial in a psychological sense because you don't just do those things. You actually get something for your labor. And that can stimulate the reward responses in the brain to help you be more consistent with it. When you see it growing and then you get to eat the fruits of your labor, you feel better about eating it. You feel good about it. You're like, I did this. We did this with our hands, and we made this grow. We had this grow, and it was great. And different things like that, and how much of a blessing that can be to be able to say, yes, this is something that I grew and I ate, and the food that you eat is most affected by how you feel about it when you're eating it. It could be the best hamburger in the world, but if you don't feel good about eating a hamburger, then it's going to stimulate the stress response instead of the relaxed and balanced response in your system. And so growing your own food and then consuming it, make sure that that balanced response within that the system is not seeing it as a problem or a thing to defend against, but rather it is something that you feel good about. So that is definitely something to do. Okay, three, floss daily. You know you need to, and it's time to start. Floss every single day. Do it at the beach, in a secluded spot, while reading on your patio, or while watching TV, and the task will breeze by. Flossing reduces oral bacteria, which improves overall body health. And if oral bacteria is low, your body has more resources to fight bacteria elsewhere. Floss daily, and you're doing better than at least 85% of people. So I guess this is more of a resolution type of one. There are studies to show the benefits of flossing, so not much to say about this one. Um, yep. I guess this is more just of a resolution one. 4. Get outside to exercise. Pick one outdoor activity: going on a hike, taking a nature walk, playing games such as tag with your kids, cycling, rollerblading, or swimming, to shed that cooped up feeling of gym workouts. And remember, the family that plays together not only gets fit together, it's also a great way to create bonding time. So this one, I do have some things to say on this one because it does have different benefits in summertime than it does winter. You're going to get more sun in summertime. There are also more precautions to take. If you are going to exercise outside, I would suggest trying to do it in the morning versus doing it in the evening. Um, that's because as the sun comes up, the atmospheric stuff that those rays and radiation have to go through to get to your skin there's more of it. It's just built up overnight. And as that atmospheric, as a slight density of the atmosphere is different, you get less radiation onto your skin that it can be harmful. So exercising in the morning, but getting sun while you do, allows a person to not only get, if they want the tan, they can get a better tan without risking as much of the radiation stuff. But also you get those vitamins and minerals start to synthesize. Those vitamins start to synthesize with the minerals that you have in your system, like the vitamin D and etc. And they work. They're able to be gained with much less of a risk type situation. Also, it's better on your eyes in the morning than it is in the evening, or at least in the high portions of the day, which goes into our next point, which is number 5, be good to your eyes. To protect your vision at work and at play, wear protective eyewear. When outdoors, wear sunglasses that block at least 99% of ultraviolet A and B rays. Sunglasses can help prevent cataracts as well as wrinkles around the eyes. And when playing sports or doing tasks such as mowing the lawn, wear protective eyewear. Ask your eye doctor about the best type. Some are sport specific. It's unfortunate that they didn't put in here. I guess people don't really think about it, but your eyes need to have some light. Like in the morning is a good time, like we talked about. Exercising in the morning, you won't have to wear sunglasses as much because you're not going to be getting as much sun directly into your eyes, for one. And like we talked about, a lot of the ultraviolets and other rays and radiation are absorbed by the particles that haven't yet, the moisture particles that usually build up that haven't been burnt off yet. So you don't have as much problem with that. It's a good time to be outside in the morning as the sun's just coming around. It hasn't reached. It depends on what time of the year, what time in the morning. But in the morning when summer is coming up and hasn't fully reached up into the sky yet. But as far as, I mean, it's a fine thing to say. You do want to protect your eyes. Um, the mention of wrinkles and stuff like that is more about how well you're protecting your skin internally, not necessarily externally. External protection for the skin doesn't do near as much for preventing aging of the skin as internal protection does. And what I mean by that is what you eat, drink, um, how you eat and how you drink, with the stress that you have, how much you rest, with even breathing and thinking, the way you think and focus on things will affect that a lot more than the environmental stimulus that you're getting, that your skin's getting. Uh, Even just drinking enough water can prevent a lot of the aging process. So that's something to be taught. It's something that's good, protect your eyes, but eh, these aren't really new things so far. Vacation time is number 6. Improve your heart health. Take advantage of summer's slower schedule by using your vacation time to unwind. Vacations have multiple benefits. They can help lower your blood pressure, heart rate, and stress hormones, such as cortisol, which contributes to a widening waist and an increased risk of heart disease. Let me see if that's the end of that one. Yes, that's the end of that one. So again, I suppose this is an appropriate time for a lot of people, for a vacation and thinking about that type of thing. Coming from a perspective of understanding that your health happens all year round, vacation is important all year round. Rest is what it is what it's important all year round. And they do have vacations do have multiple benefits, like they talked about, and it's effective for handling stress if you can de-stress during that vacation. It comes around to vacation when the time is appropriate for your schedule, and make sure that you put in your yearly schedule a time for vacation, a time for resting. You want to have at least two to as far, not necessarily full week-long vacations, but you know you want to have at least a day in the week that you rest. That doesn't count as a vacation, but at least one day in the week that you rest, or spend most of the day resting. That simply helps your body rest from its work. Now, as far as a full vacation, I advocate for 3 or 4 during the year, more if you can afford it into your time schedule and still get stuff done that you need done. Not being lazy, but just, taking care of your health. And that vacation may be doing stuff outside or different things like that. So, just something to think about. Make sure you have plenty of vacation time. If that happens in the summer, happens in the summer. Alcohol. Tip number 7 is regarding alcohol, to go light. Summer's a great time to skip drinks with hard alcohol and choose light, chilled alcoholic beverages, unless you are pregnant or should not drink for health or other reasons. A sangria, table wine diluted with juice, a cold beer, or a wine spritzer and are all refreshing but light. In moderation, defined as 1 or 2 drinks daily, alcohol can protect against heart disease. Now, what's protecting against heart disease in that alcohol is the juice. It's not necessarily the alcohol itself. The fermentation process does affect the juice some, but you can get the same benefit from just drinking juice. Um, so that's my first thing of alcohol. If you're going to go light with your alcohol, if you're drinking alcohol for health benefits, you really don't have to drink alcohol for health benefits. You can just drink juice for benefits, but for the same benefits. But if you do drink alcohol, um, that's going to be your decision. You do want to monitor it. They don't really talk about dehydration at all, because I'm seeing number 8 right now. They don't talk about dehydration at all, and the importance of getting more water. So, I mean, I don't know why, especially when alcohol dehydrates you, it does not hydrate you. You don't get hydrated when you drink alcohol. So, if you do drink alcohol, you need to drink more water afterwards or preliminarily. So that's something you want to weigh in your options. You don't. I'm not that fond of this particular tip simply because it doesn't address that. It doesn't address even just one more paragraph in that would have been good to say. Be sure if you're drinking, if you're having alcohol, to make sure that you drink water in the summertime, extra water this summer, or something like that, because you need that. You need that. 8. Sleep well. Resist the urge to stay up later during long summer days. Instead, pay attention to good sleep hygiene by keeping the same bedtime and wake-up schedule and not drinking alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime. It's also a good idea to avoid naps during the day unless you take them every day at the same time for the same amount of time. There, there they are, 8 super simple ways to boost your health this summer. Try one or try them all. They're so easy you won't even know that they're good for you. Which is a nice touch to have at the bottom. Apparently this was reviewed by Louise Chang, an MD, on June 17th, 2010, which is a very old article then. I'm really not that impressed with this article. I mean, the berry boost is a timely one for summertime. And the getting dirty and stressed could be some spring or summer. The flossing daily is just like a every time thing. Getting outside to exercise, I suppose you could do that in spring and summertime as a theme. Being good to your eyes usually has more credence or more focus in the summertime, just because we tend to think of having more of a need then, even though we get ultraviolet rays all the time in our eyes. So vacation time, I understand why that is the case. I don't necessarily agree with the idea of it that you can't take vacations throughout the year, but yes. Um, the alcohol and the sleep well don't really have anything to go with them. In fact, there have been some studies that have shown that syncing up your sleep patterns more with the sun and less with time, quote time, has a bigger benefit to your system than trying to stay on a schedule. But in our society, working is important. So keeping on a schedule is important. And we do keep on a schedule here, so I understand the ideas behind that. But I'm not really sold on like the sleep well is just an all the time thing. Sleep hygiene is important all year round. Uh, a lot of these are important all year round. Really, the only things that hit me the most were as far as being summer based, were the berries because they come off in summer, getting dirty because it's the time of the year for it, and maybe going outside and protecting your eyes. Vacation time, like I said, should happen throughout the year. You should give yourself some breaks throughout the year. If you take 3 to 4 breaks during the year, 2 to 3 days at least that you take off and don't do something, just don't do anything or do something that's fun. And another thing to include in this vacation that is not touched on, which I understand this is a short article, but vacations, pardon me, vacations should be vacations. They shouldn't be adventures. You can't count a trip to Disney World as a vacation. Why? Because you're not vacationing. You're not resting at all. You are having an adventure at Disney World. You can still have fun. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying your body won't treat it like a vacation because you're still working. You're working at having fun. That's what It is. It is a trip. It is not a vacation. And understanding the difference between trips and vacations is important because in a vacation, it's just the journey. It's just having a fun time, or it's just resting. It's like going to the beach. That can be a vacation, or going to a retreat where you don't worry about schedules and stuff. That can be a vacation. A trip is something where you have an agenda. You like with the Disney World thing. You're going to get up and go to Disney World or whatever theme park you want to say, and then you're going to come back to the room and rest and get some lunch, and then you're going back to the park or you're doing something. You're putting stuff into that time that is not necessarily relaxing, not unfun. It's still fun, but it's not relaxing fun. It is just fun, which is totally understandable. Again, not a bad thing, but not a vacation either. To vacation means you're not doing work, even fun. You're not working at your fun either. You're just resting. Like going fishing, you wouldn't put an agenda on going fishing. You may say, I'm going to fish from here to here on your time, but you don't stress about whether the fish are going to bite or not on a vacation. So, anyway, that's kind of my ideas and thoughts about this. As you guys probably guessed, I'm not super fond of the ones that list things like 8 summer steps or stuff like that, but then don't give you really substantial information within those steps. You did get some information within these steps, but none of them, uh, only about half of them apply directly to summer. Maybe less when you really, if you push it, about half of them applied to summer. But that's just my personal opinions on it. You can you can always tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right by going to the different links here, whether that's the phone, the website, the email, the Facebook, the Twitter, or the YouTubes. You you can message me at any of those and tell me if you agree, if you disagree, or what. You can leave your comments, questions down below in the, I believe they like to call it the doobly doo. And that's what we have for today. I hope that you guys understand that I'm giving it a hard time because I prefer more detail in my articles rather than just, oh, this is a thing that you can kind of do, and uh, I find those to be lackluster. But that's my preference on the articles. You guys may enjoy those articles they feel like, for lack of a better word, a fluff piece for summer. Just trying to get something out there and keep their views up. Yeah, here's an old article anyway. There are some on the WebMD that I have liked. So with this one, don't bother reading it unless you want to. You can if you want to, but it didn't really give you much information. Anyway, I I appreciate you everyone watching. I am Adam L. Spain with the Eden Wellness Alliance. Health and wellness the way God intended. All natural, non-invasive approaches to your health, wealth, and relationships. Thank you for coming to the State of the Association address, and goodbye.